One Size sent over their new Bouclé silk powder, and I'm gonna show you how I use both of these shades to get this radiant luminosity on my skin. One Size sent over Deepest, but I realized later on and bought Dark Deep to actually use both today. I've been using Deepest as a bronzer, so I'm gonna use this as an all-over face powder, and you'll see how these both give me this luminosity that is really skin-like. This is a great powder for people who hate powders. These are non-drying and they're talc-free, and they provide a skin-hugging technology that blurs texture. So this is how both look swatched on my hand, and as you can see, they're really, really nice. This is the Dark Deep, and this one was the Deepest. So as you see, this is how they look on my skin. This one has a little bit more depth, whereas this one blends right in. So we're gonna try those on. Okay, so we blended our under eye. I'm going to go in and set with the One Size setting powder, loose setting powder, and Sweet Honey. And then we're gonna see how this powder looks swept away with the Silk Airbrush powder. So I have a very deliberate amount of the loose setting powder and Sweet Honey on because I like to use powders like these to kind of buff away. And so I'm going in with the color Dark Deep to buff away the residual powder that's left on the skin. And yeah, just like, look at my forehead. That's so good. And I like that I'm still setting my face. Obviously, it's getting rid of the natural like dewiness from the foundation being wet on my skin. So like this is still being like mattified in a way, but not to the point where I just look dry and flat. It's still like a skin-like luminosity, and that's what I love about powders like these. I actually like to use the shade Deepest, just using this as a bronzer. These powders to me are multi-use. I've used powders like this under my eyes as a brightening airbrush finish. I've used them in place of like a more luminous bronzer like this, where the bronzer isn't completely flat because there is like a radiance to this because it's baked. That is my face with these two powders on. I'm gonna go in and finish everything else and show you the final look. I finished out everything with the Powder Melt setting spray from One Size to melt everything in and bring back that radiant glow. This is the final look, and I really love these One Size Bouclé silk powders. If you have not tried them, head to Sephora and swatch them to find out your shade.